the stall that fell but the soul that rose higher. In a remote, almost forgotten corner of a countryside village, surrounded by swaying trees and quiet fields, stood a modest wooden food stall. It wasn't a place you'd find in tourist brochures or Instagram posts. With its rusted tin roof, faded paint, and hand-painted sign, it looked like it belonged to another time. Yet that every single morning before even the birds began to sing, an elderly man would unlock its creaky door, light a small stove, and begin preparing warm coffee and freshly fried snacks. The air would fill with the comforting aroma of banana fritters, roasted peanuts, and quiet determination. Despite the effort, the stall rarely saw a crowd. On most days, a few villagers might stop by for tea. On others, not a single soul would visit. The old man never complained. He never showed frustration. To outsiders, it seemed pointless. But he once told a passing traveler, "I don't run this place to make money. I keep it open in case someone needs it. Sometimes, what you offer the world isn't measured in coins, but in comfort. A hot drink on a cold day. A smile when someone feels unseen." Over time, the village landscape began to change. A new highway was constructed far from the old road that once brought people by the stall. Cars that used to stop now sped by on smoother, faster lanes. Life moved on, leaving the tiny stall behind. Some neighbors suggested he retire. "You've served long enough," they said. "You're not young anymore." But he'd only shake his head and smile. "If I still have two hands and a reason, why should I stop?" It wasn't about success, it was about service. Then came the night the storm arrived, unlike anything the village had seen in years. Thunder roared like a beast. Rain poured down in furious sheets, soaking every inch of the land. The winds tore through trees, roofs, and fences with terrifying force. And in the morning, when the skies cleared, the villagers found the old man's stall utterly destroyed. Wood scattered across the mud. The stove cracked in two. Everything he had built, gone in a single night. People came to console him. Some offered a hand, others simply watched in silence. "Maybe this is God's way of telling you to rest," someone said gently. But the old man looked at the ruins of his stall, then at the rising sun, and said with quiet conviction, "Sometimes things must fall apart for something better to grow. I trust the one who gave me this path in the first place. If he takes something away, it's not the end, just a new beginning." Days passed. Then one afternoon, a luxury vehicle rolled into the village, drawing curious eyes. A young man stepped out, dressed in fine clothes, but with a heart that seemed heavy with memory. He wandered through the village until he found the old man sitting beneath a tree, sipping tea from a cracked mug. With emotion in his voice, he said, "I've been looking for you. Years ago, I came here with nothing. I had no home, no money, no future. I stole from your stall, just one snack. But instead of shouting or hitting me, you sat me down, gave me warm food and said, 'If you're ever hungry, don't steal, ask, and I'll help you.'" The old man listened quietly as the visitor continued. "I carried your words with me through the darkest parts of my life. I worked hard. I studied under streetlights. I built something from nothing. Today, I own a company. I've traveled the world. But I never forgot you, or what you taught me. That one moment of compassion rewrote my entire story. I came not to repay you because I never could, but to honor you." His voice trembled. "Please let me rebuild your stall. Not for business, but for the soul of what it represented." Weeks later, where the broken shack once stood, a new stall emerged. Still humble, still wooden, but stronger, crafted with care. A clean counter, a warm stove, old recipes, same coffee. But this time, the people came not just to eat, but to hear the story. On a handcrafted sign above the stall's window, engraved in quiet elegance, were the words, "Kindness never disappears. It may sleep, but it always returns." The stall, once empty, was now full, not just with people, but with meaning. Every morning, the old man returned to his usual rhythm, opening before sunrise, sweeping the floor and serving strangers with the same gentle smile. But now there was something new in his eyes, not pride but peace. Not because he had gained something, but because the world had reminded him, what you give in silence will echo through eternity. His simple acts had reached far beyond the village, carried by a ripple he never saw coming. This wasn't just a story of a food stall, it was the story of faith in action, of how unseen kindness is never wasted, of how patience, service, and silent sacrifice never go unnoticed by the one who sees all. And in a world that often rewards noise, this story whispered a different truth, that when you serve with sincerity, even the smallest act becomes a light in someone else's darkness. And one day, that light will return to you, brighter than you ever imagined. And so the food stall remained, not just as a place to eat, but as a living testament to a quiet kind of greatness. People came from near and far, drawn not by flavor alone, but by the spirit that lingered in every corner. It became a symbol of what the world too often forgets, that real success isn't loud or flashy. It is built slowly, with hands that serve and hearts that believe. The man behind the stall had no followers, no fame, no riches. Yet in his silence, he stirred the soul of a generation. Years from now, when the old man is only a memory and the stall is passed into new hands, his legacy will endure. For kindness, once planted, grows in places we may never see. A single moment of compassion can echo through decades, changing the course of a life, a village, perhaps even the world. And in the rhythm of the daily grind, his story will live on. Not because he tried to be remembered, but because he chose to love without needing to be seen.